Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We thank you for joining us. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. The Senate is to send a delegation to commiserate with the people of Kaduna State over the recent killings in parts of the state. This followed a motion of urgent national importance moved by Senator Suleiman Hunkuyi, during which the legislators advised authorities to intensify efforts towards rescuing the kidnapped traditional ruler of Adara community in Kaduna State, and for command to set up a committee to investigate the cause of these killings in Kaduna and other states. The Senate is to also visit and commiserate with the people of Niger State and the family of late former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Idris Kutigi, as moved by Senator David Umaru, as it urged the federal government to immortalize the late jurist. Still from the Senate, negligence, vandalism, and conflicts of security checks are allegedly responsible for the pipeline explosion which claimed over 100 lives in Osisioma local government area of Abia State. This was at an investigative hearing by a state committee on petroleum downstream and police affairs on the matter.
While the affected communities attributed the incident to negligence on the side of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) and complacency of security agents, the Nigeria Petroleum Storage Company (NPSC), an arm of the NNPC, argued that it is a case of vandalism.
I can tell you that we had over 700 insertions on that line in that area in our process of restoring the line.
This thing did not occur as a result of vandalization of pipeline. It didn't. Because I went through, they took me, I didn't see any breakage, I didn't see where they broke the pipe so that they can take oil, I didn't see. But I saw leakages.
You can imagine a villager that we should be afraid of army and police, civil defense. When they come there, they see them. And they collect money, and then they've legalized it. Nobody comes around, nobody can chase them.
Though the Aba Police Command was not present to react to allegations leveled against it, an unfitting piece to the puzzle, perhaps, is a revelation that the pipeline in question supplies Enugu Depot from Aba, and that the depot has not been functional for some years.
There is no reason why any product should go beyond Aba Depot. And these communities are actually beyond the depot.
Every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the pump.
What we do is batch action. If we have 6 million liters in Port Harcourt, we pump that 6 million into Aba and quickly displace with water.
These people will not waste their time to be scooping water and oil that contains maybe 90% water and only 10% oil. They will not do that. And if there is an inferno, it will not be as devastating as what we have seen now.
Chairman of the committee advised that all concerned empathize with the affected communities and the dead by working to bring the investigation to a logical conclusion. The hearing was adjourned to Thursday, October 25, 2018. From the National Assembly, Omotola Omojola, NTA News.
More reports on security. The Nigerian Army is to procure 10,000 ballistic vests from the Nigerian machine tools, particularly for troops deployed to fight insurgency and other internal security operations. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, announced this after inaugurating the ballistic production factory of the indigenous company in Oshogbo, Osun State. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has more.
The federal government, through the local content policy, is determined to ensure the use of local resources to attain the nation's quest for rapid industrialization.
The development of military-industrial complex is key to the security architecture of a nation.
In line with this drive, the Nigerian Army is collaborating with both local and international firms to build capacity for its much anticipated military-industrial complex for the production of desired hardware. The partnership with this indigenous firm that produce tested military protective vests and helmets of international standard, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, said will save cost and provide jobs.
In line with one of the main thrusts of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, which is security, the Nigerian Army has given impetus to the production and manufacturing of military hardware and equipment through partnership with local industries. The idea to collaborate with the Nigerian machine tools manufacturing industry was conceptualized in the year 2016 with a contract for the supply of 2,000 ballistic vests.
He enjoined other security agents.
We apologize for the loss of audio on that report. Moving on now, the public hearing on the alleged human violation by the Special Anti-Robbery Squad (SARS) of the Nigerian Police Force continued, with more witnesses testifying before the Presidential Panel on SARS Reform in Abuja. Aliu Toko reports that the sitting availed the panel the opportunity to revisit 3 cases out of the 24 petitions.
36-year-old Samuel Shekuma was the first to give account of how one Miss Comfort Hembe was allegedly electrocuted mistakenly by the men of the SARS on the 13th of June this year at Spy Anusa Guest House in Mabushi. Mr. Shekuma said the delay by Miss Hembe and her boyfriend Dogo in coming out of their room when 7 men of SARS entered the guest house in search of armed robbers provoked the SARS officials, which led to maltreating the lady and her boyfriend. The witness alleged that he had the deceased shouting that the gate, which the SARS officers were trying to push her towards, was electrified and that they should not push her to the gate, but yet they did, which led to her electrocution. Mr. Shekuma said it remains a mystery how the pickup vehicle, which carried Ms. Hembe to Gwarimpa Hospital, where she was pronounced dead, disappeared, including the cops.
The point is, we want to make it clear that it is no longer business as usual in law enforcement. No law enforcement officer is allowed to carry out his law enforcement duties in utter disregard of human rights. The Constitution doesn't say so. The government of Nigeria doesn't say so.
2 others, Ochai Onaze and Ote John, filed petition before the panel alleging being tortured by SARS, but Ote's case was struck out. In Abuja, Aliu Tukur, NTA News.
Now, peacemakers and community-based faith bodies have been urged to live up to their responsibilities by constantly promoting peace among followers of different religious groups in Nigeria. This is a consensus at Lifesavers Ambassadors International Interfaith Media Pali in Abuja. Founder and convener of the interfaith group, Bishop Juanita Wendu, said religion must be used as a tool for development rather than instigating conflicts. She said a summit is proposed in the next few weeks to foster understanding among the various ethnic and religious groups in the country.
So we keep hammering on it, we keep talking, we keep speaking, we keep meeting. And before you turn around, you see that there is peace on every side. We need to change our pattern and embrace peace.
That we must say no to violence and we must say no to killing. We need a peaceful Nigeria.
Abdullahi Musa Suleja reports that Bishop Wendell said the group was born out of the need to address conflicts among different religious groups as one of the contributors to instability in Nigeria. Our next report says the visit of Vice President Yemi Osinbajo to victims of flood disaster in Bayelsa and Rivers states has been described as reassuring and morale booster to the victims. Bayelsa State Governor Serake Dixon stated this when he received the Vice President in Yenagoa on a sympathy visit. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu has details.
Professor Osinbajo, who described the level of devastation of the flood as monumental, said the federal government will leave no stone unturned in taking adequate care of the welfare of the flood victims. He said the federal government will collaborate with states to provide a lasting solution to the perennial flood disasters that have continued to ravage most parts of the country.
As you have heard, NEMA is already here on ground, and they are working very hard with the State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, to ensure that we're able to give as much succor and as much comfort as is possible. And that would involve provision of food, provision of tents, provision of mosquito nets, provision of mattresses, and all other aid that you require.
And we would like you, sir, to make more provisions available for NEMA, because we are dealing with a very serious case, and you have seen it yourself. Not only are we talking of the displaced people who are here and how they feed, we are also now thinking of how to support them when they have to return back home.
With the creeks and other difficult terrain in Bayelsa and Rivers State, which may be seen as a difficult thing to do in the distribution of relief materials to the flood victims, but NEMA officials doggedly penetrated all the affected creeks for the direct distribution as directed by the Director General of NEMA. From Yenagoa in Bayelsa State, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
And back in Abuja, the House of Representatives has resolved to invite relevant agencies to provide explanation on the recent alert that some Chinese drugs in circulation contain human flesh. While considering a motion raised by Representative Johnson Agbonaima, the House expressed concern over the alert by the Nigerian intelligence agency that such drugs were imported into the country. Wednesday's plenary also adopted a motion from Representative Abiodun Faleke on a need to investigate the non-implementation of the White Paper of Inquiry into activities of defunct Nigeria Airways. You're still watching Nationwide. Fayose appears in court. Let's now join Michael in Lagos for details. Over to you, Michael.
The immediate past governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, has been granted bail in the sum of 50 million naira by the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos. He was arraigned before Justice Mojisola Olatoregun over money laundering and abuse of office charges brought against him by the EFCC. Abolore Ogbara has more.
EFCC had charged the former governor Ayodele Fayose to court on 11-count charge bordering on receiving money illegally to fund his 2014 governorship campaign, among other allegations. He had pleaded not guilty to all the charges. Justice Mojisola Olatoregun granted him bail in the sum of 50 million naira with two sureties who must issue a 50 million naira bond in a reputable bank, as well as possess 3 years tax clearance in the state. In addition, the sureties must have landed property in Lagos. The judge also directed the former governor to submit his international passport to the court. The EFCC told the court that the commission is still tracing other properties acquired by the defendants with the proceeds of alleged funds. Justice Mojisola Olatoregun thereby adjourned the trial to the 19th of November. In Lagos, Abolore Ogbara, NTA News.
According to the World Health Organization, WHO, Nigeria is one of the 3 countries in the world with white polio virus transmission alongside Afghanistan and Pakistan. as Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark World Polio Day. A cross-section of Lagos residents speak on the process of eradicating the polio virus in Nigeria. Elizabeth Omori reports.
Myelitis is a highly infectious viral disease which mainly affects young children under the age of 5. The initial symptoms are fever, fatigue, headache, stiffness of the neck, and pain in the limbs. According to research, 1 in 2 infections lead to irreversible paralysis. Considering this condition, some persons still feign ignorance.
I've not heard of polio before. I don't know what it means.
No, I can't say. Have you ever heard of polio? No. Because I'm nervous of that.
Following the detection of wild polio virus in northern Nigeria in 2016 for the first time in 2 years, Nigeria and neighboring countries in the Lake Chad Basin had held multiple vaccination campaigns to raise population immunity and awareness. Dr. Tunji Funsho is a physician cardiologist, and he says an effective surveillance and immunization systems will go a long way to eradicating polio.
We have gone 99.9% of the way to eradicate polio from the world. But usually it's at the end of a long race that becomes more difficult. So we are making all efforts to ensure that we sustain, at least in Nigeria, 0 cases, and in other parts of the world, reduced to 0 as well.
Adulteration, proximity, and religious ideologies are some of the factors mitigating efforts by the government to curb the spread of polio.
The main way to get polio eradicated is to make every child vaccinated. Every child, irrespective of where that person is.
Nursing mothers are expected to pay critical attention to the oral hygiene of infants. According to medical experts, polio has no cure, but it can be prevented. Polio vaccine given multiple times can protect a child for life. In Lagos, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Thank you, Elizabeth. The Nigerian Air Force has continued to look inward to build local capacity through research and development for operational efficiency. Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, in a message to the 2018 Research and Development Competition, said the effort is to promote innovations and creativity for aircraft maintenance and flight operations. Dotun Ogunyemi has details.
From operational-based to technical and communications, this web-based message management system, designed by 341 Communications Group, is to enhance intelligence dissemination securely to avoid leakages. The competition, which was introduced in 2016, places premium on research and development by the Air Force and has witnessed the creation of the first locally made unmanned aerial vehicle, the Guma, and NAFSA's ongoing Eagle project.
This is even more apt as the service looks forward to becoming self-reliant in training of personnel and maintenance of platforms.
It is with this in mind that the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal S.B. Abubakar, made it a priority to support research and development efforts that will lead us to self-sufficiency.
6 units participated in the competition, which had other projects such as movable observation post, production of vegetable using hydroponics, propeller positioning bar, and mobile workshop crane. 301 Heavy Lift Group emerged overall winners based on aircraft maintenance and flight operation guidelines. In Lagos, Dotun Ogunyemi, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Lagos. Back to Lydia in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Many thanks, Michael. We now join Chinenye in Enugu for stories trending there. Over to you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Lydia. Good afternoon and welcome to Enugu. Low-cost housing for workers and general welfare were key issues on the front burner at the 4th Quadrennial Conference organized by the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria. The national president of the association, Comrade Boboy Bala Kaigama, while addressing workers and delegates at the conference, appealed to state governments to see housing for workers as priority, as take-home pay barely provides food on the table. Chiego Onuaro completes the report.
The Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria is a frontline affiliate member of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. The association is a major player in the Joint Public Service Negotiating Council. Addressing delegates to the 4th Quadrennial Conference of the association in Enugu, the national president, Comrade Boboy Bala Kaigama, called on government at all levels to prioritize workers' welfare, especially the national minimum wage saga currently on the national front burner. He appealed to Enugu State government to deliver the workers' estate at Ibagwanike by providing the infrastructure needed for it to be habitable.
Ongoing construction work of the future National Secretariat of the Association in Abuja and the massive training and development of our members locally and internationally are good examples that can be cited.
This conference will come out with far-reaching decisions on how to move the association forward in Enugu State.
Enugu State Head of Service, Chidi Ezema, and the State Commissioner for Labor and Productivity, Obo Asogwa, both charged workers to be dedicated to service, as the state governor has indicated that he will key into the national minimum wage as soon as the federal government and the labor reach a consensus. The 4th Quadrennial Conference produced new leadership by election for the next 4 years. In Enugu, Chiego Onuaro, NTA News.
Many Nigerians have continued to frown out the use of youths as political thugs in the country. In this report, Ngozi Silva Technical examines factors responsible for this trend.
The use of young people, especially the undergraduates, as political thugs during elections has become a recurring dilemma every election year in the country. According to reports, a young undergraduate died during one of the party primaries in the country, thus creating fear and panic as the 2019 general elections draws near. Speaking against these social ills, key players in politics blame the trend on desperate politicians who engage youths to perpetrate violence.
If somebody has a very good means of livelihood, that he doesn't depend on the immediate gain he will get from a politician to survive.
The factors that lead to the usage of youths as thugs, one is poverty, unemployment. The youths have lost their focus.
The big question is whatever the youths are paid worth the wasting of human lives or property?
You know you have been used several times. Every 4 years they come up and they set you up and they deceive you with whatever little token they give to you.
Decrying the negative effects such violent activities has on the society and lives of Nigerian youths, this respondent said all hands must be on deck to curb the menace. They therefore, among other things, advocate constant enlightenments, youth-friendly policies and employment opportunities as ways of engaging the youths in order to curb the trend. In Enugu, Ngozi Silva Technical, NTA News.
The State Commandant, Nigerian Legion Corps of Commissioners, Enugu State Commandant Olayiwola Ojewole, has stressed the need for citizens of Nigeria to render help to the downtrodden, especially the internally displaced persons in the society. He made this known at the Humanitarian Day of the Command. Okechukwu Agubama has details.
Commandant Ojewole essence of the humanitarian exercise is to recognize the less privileged ones in the society so as to have an egalitarian society. He said the cleanup exercise centered on the contributions to the society to make it a better place. Commandant Olayiwole added that the sanitation within the military zones in the metropolis is simply a show of unity among the security agencies in the country.
It's also a day set aside to recognize as well all the aid workers that have been involved at one time or the other, to pay tribute to them during conflict.
The group captain commanding 553 Base Services Group, Nigerian Air Force Captain Ilomana Uke, and Police Public Relations Officer of the Nigerian Police Enugu State Command, Ebera Marizu, said the cleanup exercise is apt.
They even arrived here before me. That's to show the level of seriousness at which they put into what they want to do.
to render humanitarian services, to assist, to ensure that the weak link are tightened up.
The commands visited were Nigerian Air Force Base Emene 82 Division, State CID, Government House, and 103 Battalion Gariki. In Enugu, Okechukwu Agobama, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Enugu. Nationwide continues with Lydia in Abuja after this timeout.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
For years, the NTA has been promoting science, technology, arts and crafts under the tagged name National Children's Expo. We are set with another edition as we gather children around Nigeria, junior category ages 6 to 12 and senior category ages 13 to 18. The theme for Expo 2018, achieving self-sufficiency in agriculture, meeting the challenges of security and exposition of alternative energy as pathways to national development. Date, October 21st to 25th, 2018. Venue, NTA Headquarters Arena, Area 11, Garki, Abuja. We are set to celebrate the best of innovation across the country. NTA ETV, promoting learning.
EA Nigeria, a citizen participatory program, will soon be on your screen. It will transmit Mondays to Thursdays by 6 p.m. on NTA Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba channels, and NTA Entertainment, all on NTA Star TV network. EA Nigeria seeks to promote the appreciation of our indigenous languages, citizen civic responsibility, nationalism, and capacity building. It also helps to address misrepresentation of our national symbols. EA Nigeria is a live phone-in TV program, so you can join in the conversation. For sponsorship and participation, please contact these numbers. EA Nigeria, promoting culture and national values.
NTA Television College, Jos, an affiliate of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, is organizing a 2-week course in Archival Management System of Broadcast Media. Date, 5th to 16th November 2018. Venue, NTA Television College, Rayfield, Jos. Course fee, 100,000 naira per participant, accommodation inclusive. The course will equip participants with the techniques of automating recordings, cataloging, and analyzing media for storage and productions. Come and take advantage of this course to sharpen your skills in maintaining, conserving, and utilizing the archival system. For more information, please contact us on the following numbers: 0806 980 9807, 0803 314 4383. TV College Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
Welcome back. The news continues. In Bauchi, food vendors participating in the homegrown school feeding program of the federal government showed their appreciation by donating the sum of 4.2 billion naira towards the Buhari Osinbajo 2019 campaign. While commending the gesture, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, however, presented the checks back to the women to buy more books for their children. This was at the launch of the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinics in Bauchi. State House correspondent Gideon Nifade has details.
It's a donation least expected, but one which shows that the objective of the social investment programs of the federal government is being realized. As Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says, the Buhari administration is committed to the betterment of all Nigerians.
This is the reason why the president decided that we must have the school feeding program to provide opportunities for people. President Muhammadu Buhari's commitment to Nigeria is that he will not steal Nigeria's resources. He will use Nigeria's money for the benefit of Nigerians. That is the pledge that he made the day that he became president, and he has maintained that pledge till now.
The state's economy is boosted on a monthly basis by 864 million naira through the homegrown school feeding program, 390 million naira through the NPower program, and over 180 million naira through the non-graduate empowerment program, just to mention a few.
The determination of our government is to see to it that Nigeria's resources, Nigeria's money is used for the benefit of Nigerians. We will not allow any part of Nigeria's resources to be used for private purposes. This country can afford to provide for its own people. We can afford to provide for our people. We can afford to provide jobs. That is why we are determined and committed to making sure that we provide for our people everywhere, especially for young men and women like yourself.
Appreciating the federal government efforts in rolling out the special intervention programs, this administration has domesticated them such that the programs and activities are put in place to reach out to the poorest of the poor in the state and provide skills acquisition training for our youth and women in order to make them self-reliant.
Commenting on the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Program, Vice President Osinbajo says the focus is to bring all regulatory agencies closer to the people to enable them register their businesses without stress. The Vice President thereafter visits one of the markets where he launches Trader Money Initiative. He also inspects the Bauchi Investment House. Jude Onifade, NTA News.
Our next set of reports concern politics. Nigerians are assured of agreement National Electoral Commission 2019 budget outside the Social Investment Program. This was part of submission of discussants on the NTA's Current Affairs Program, Tuesday Live. Talatu Ezrike has more.
The Social Investment Program, SIP, it's one of the projects of the present administration with a yearly budgetary allocation of 500 billion naira to improve the standard of living of Nigerians. Analysts say the social intervention programs that include school feeding program, NPower, market money, and conditional cash transfer are yielding results.
That Buhari helped me like this. Now so I greet am more say God go help you all your family.
However, following President Muhammadu Buhari's vehement request to the National Assembly of 242 billion naira to fund the 2019 elections, the legislature proposed the funding from the Social Investment Program. That has raised concerns.
If you take away social intervention, you actually have taken 80% of all of President Buhari's promises to the Nigerian people.
There may have been a situation where a president or the executive would have said, what you need, take. I give it to you. Minister of Finance, release. But the President Buhari says, look, everything must go through the National Assembly. The National Assembly must look at every dot and every penny of it. And I can only ask it to be released or signed according as approved by the National Assembly, which is the height of transparency.
There are much more.
For the first time ever in the history of Nigeria, transmission will be done electronically. And INEC is saying that by 2023, all things being equal, we are going to do. If that is the case, you will need to procure those machines for balloting. But I wish and I hope that we do not go through this journey anymore, because it makes the whole process look so uncertain.
What I am pushing for is value for money. That people of ideas, people, layman like me, can aspire and become governor without having a deep pocket or looking up to a godfather.
Well, the march to the 2019 election is in earnest, and analysts advise on right actions in building a better Nigeria. Talatu Ezewike, NTA News.
Many thanks, Talatu. Now, political parties in Nigeria have been urged to create a more conducive environment that will enable women to participate fully in the nation's democratic system. This was the position of a group known as Northern Women in Politics at a media briefing in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf has more.
The women came together with the convictions that their participation in politics is essential to advancing democracy, development, peace, and justice. Applauding the electoral process ahead of the 2019 general elections, true democracy, they believe, requires a balanced participation of both men and women, young and old, in politics. Convener of these meetings, Adatu Abdullahi, acknowledged the efforts of many women across the country for their participation in politics and by absorbing the vagaries of their experiences. Other speakers called on women to give support to fellow women of character in any political contest for the good of the nation. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Still on politics, National Coordinator of the Buhari Campaign Organization, Alhaji Danladi Pasali, says re-electing President Muhammadu Buhari will consolidate economic diversification drive of the APC government and guarantee rapid transformation of Nigeria. He stated this at the inauguration of the Ekiti State Office of the group. Kola Adebobuyi has details.
The landmark achievements recorded by the President Buhari's administration in different sectors aimed at improving lives and the economic sustainability of the country necessitated to mobilize support for the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari and Yemi Osinbajo to lead the country beyond 2019. The group, under its national coordinator, Alhaji Danladi Pasali, believes it is time for Nigerians to support and promote purposeful leadership that could bring succor to the citizens through economic diversification, empowerment, poverty eradication, adequate security, and agricultural development, among others. Hence, the inauguration of Ekiti State Chapter Office, executives and members in Ado-Ekiti.
Mr. President has done a lot of achievement. We have seen the diversification in our economy. We have seen the revolution in agriculture in terms of Anko Grower program, N-Power, market money, the school feeding, and so many other.
As long as you believe in the ideology of Buhari, you believe in the good governance, you believe in eradicating corruption in this country.
The Buhari Campaign Organization, which believes in good governance, unity, and peaceful coexistence of Nigerians, says it will continue to mobilize human and other resources in the agenda to return President Muhammadu Buhari as president in 2019 general election for the growth of the country. In Ado-Ekiti.
Next up on Nationwide is Sokoto, and Nura will bring us up to speed. It's over to you, Nura.
Lydia, and welcome to Sokoto. The federal government is to provide legislation to promote veterinary profession and international animal trade. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo stated this at the 55th Annual Congress of the Nigerian Veterinary Medical Association held in Sokoto. Sheikh Muhammad Dati completes the story.
The Congress brought together veterinary practitioners across the country and beyond to find solutions to the challenges of climate change, emerging diseases, and farmers-herdsmen clashes across the nation. Declaring open the 55th Annual Congress of the Nigerian Veterinary Medical Association in Sokoto, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, represented by Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Health, Abdulaziz Abdullahi Mashi, said the Congress provides a platform for livestock production and a means of export for the country. The Vice President said legislation on animal diseases is before the National Assembly for consideration with a view to enhancing veterinary practice and international animal trade.
We are optimistic that the National Assembly will expedite action on these bills and pass them into law to provide more legal frameworks for veterinary practices in the country.
Governor Amin Waziri Tambo, represented by Secretary to Sokoto State Government, Professor Bashir Garba, said the state government has expended a huge amount of money to make animal health services more responsive. Chairman of the occasion, Ambassador Shehu Malami Sarki Sudan, said the incessant farmers' harassment clashes and insecurity prevailing in the country is becoming worrisome and called for measures to address the menace. The national president of the association, Dr. Godwin Abonyi, and representative of the Minister of Agriculture, Director of Veterinary and Pest Control Services, Dr. Olaniran Alabi, said the global concern about the menace of antimicrobial resistance will also receive prime attention at the Congress. In Sokoto, Shehu Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
The need to change gender stereotype, social norms, and unconscious bias to provide girls with the same learning and care opportunities as boys has been stressed. Member high-level women advocates Professor Aisha Tumadawaki Isa made the call at an interactive session on girl-child education in Sokoto. Sadia Omar Digi has more.
The interactive session attracted women groups from the 23 local government areas of Sokoto State. The way girls are relegated to the background and the need for creation of opportunities to support girls' school-to-work transition, such as career guidance and entrepreneurship, took center stage at the interactive session. Professor Madawaki called on parents to support government's effort in increasing enrollment and retention of pupils by sending their children to school.
Our major task is to see that every girl child in the state is enrolled and is retained in school and is provided with that enabling environment to make her stay in the school worthwhile.
Another member of the High-Level Women Association, Hajia Inno Atahiru, identified poverty and cultural beliefs as some of the challenges of the girl child, stressing the need for all hands to be on deck to boost girl child education. In Sokoto, Sadia Umar Digi, NTA News.
We now take a break for another commercial message. Please stay with us.
Sinister Studios presents Fright Night Halloween Costume Party on Friday the 26th of October 2018. Time 6 p.m. Venue El Amin International School, 1 Gurara Street, Maitama, Abuja. There shall be music, games, food, a haunted house, drinks and many more. Best dressed costume gets a prize. Tickets will be available at the venue, 3,000 naira only. For more info, please call 070-3232-3062.
Fake news which is shared for malicious purposes is a danger to our peace and security in Nigeria. Misinformation as fake news is a serious threat to our hard-earned democracy and promotes hatred and misunderstanding between our communities. We are all responsible for stopping the spread of fake news in its tracks. So, always check the source and credibility of any news item. Say no to fake news. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Agenda 2030. As a successor framework for the Millennium Development Goals, the global community rolled out a bigger, deeper, and more encompassing framework called the Sustainable Development Goals, designed to transform our world, lift the poor out of poverty, as well as ensure inclusive and healthy society. On Agenda 2030, we take you on a media trip to the global destination of the future we want. With everyone on board, we focus on the people and their struggle, the civil society and their agitations, the government and her development effort, the Global Development Agenda, its 17 goals and 169 targets. We bring you all the deliberations, insightful conversations and high-level partnerships on the road to global destination. Agenda 2030, showing on this channel. Agenda 2030, leaving no one behind.
Yeah, Modina. Mode. Do you have Yamala? Yes. And Abula. Yes, sir. Black or white? Yamala. Have I ever eaten white amala here before? Sorry, sir. Give me amala and abula. Do you have dodo? Dodo ground. Good. Let me have some dodo. I want to put the meat in a bowl. Shaki, shuku, abodi. I like my edo to be very tender. You have stockfish? Yes, sir. Good. Let's have some stock. And the catfish, my favorite. Don't mind them. Look, eggs. I would like 6 boiled eggs. No eggs. Okay, the catfish will do. And then rice. Rice and then some salad. Look. Do you have a guru?
Thanks for being there. The technical and technological basis of broadcasting is being showcased at the ongoing Africa's Investment Platform for Broadcast Content and Technology, Africast, holding in Abuja. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday tells us more.
Known to be the largest market in Africa, exhibitors from across the globe are here to showcase their products. From digital vision mixer to audio consoles, video on virtual radio, sophisticated cameras, special camera lenses, reflectors, digital microphones, live stream boxes were on display. One of the exhibitors, Ralph Shimnel, said Nigeria is on the right path.
It's a long road and it's not an easy one. It requires a lot of investment to make these changes. I don't know how long it will take, but definitely they're on the right path. So how are you?
Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, Ishaku Modibukau, said the quality of the show will be sustained.
So this market will continue to grow because more and more people are coming into broadcasting. A few weeks ago, the President of Nigeria approved a lot of new radio and television licenses. So all these people will set up radio and television stations, employ new people.
In Nigeria, there are 2 signal distributors for the digital switchover projects, the Integrated Television Services, ITS, and Pinnacle Communications Limited.
The analog to digital process was in comatose before this administration came into being. And as soon as we were in court, by the way, and we came out of court, they encouraged us, and that's why we're able to get to where we are today. I would say yes, they've really encouraged us, and they need to do more in terms of funding so that we can speed up the total transition to digital.
Patronizing these exhibitors, participants say, will go a long way in improving on the quality of broadcasting in Nigeria. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Our next story is from Calabar. The tourism sector in the country is soon to receive a boost as the Cross River State government takes steps to transform its flagship festival, Carnival Calabar, into a veritable platform for Africa's discourse with a view to repositioning the country on the world map. Governor Ben Ayade made this position known while flagging off the first-day run for this year's Africa's biggest street party. Udwa Ketim has details.
Let the show begin.
The Carnival Dry Run, which signals the commencement of activities ahead of the main festival in Calabar, is to enable participants, especially the 5 competing bands, Seagull, Master Blaster, Freedom, among others, to acquaint themselves with the 12-kilometer routes. Governor Ben Ayade, represented by his deputy Professor Ivaresu, said, with the theme of this year's carnival tagged Africanism, it is time for Africans to change their perception of slavery, pains and suffering with a view to building a positive mindset of regaining history of glory and dignity.
I believe that indeed, if Africans can get themselves together, we can win back our position in the world.
Carnival Calabar, over the years, has promoted talent and creativity in young Nigerians.
Africanism, the theme for this year, is a very empathic, passionate, and thought-provoking theme.
We are so proud with this tourism and economic development brought to the state, to showcase the state to the entire world.
Participants believe the energetic march will help them perform well during the main festival. In Calabar, Uduak Etam, NTA News.
And back in Abuja, Nigeria is employing new and creative platforms to eradicate polio. An initiative which employs documentaries as a medium of sensitization has unveiled its strategy with NTA as a partner in the push to battle the scourge. Fisayo Ogunfuyi reports.
Nigeria's picturesque setting, the warmth of its people and their collective aspirations get less airtime than their travails. Perhaps that is why the unending battle against polio continues to leave a bitter taste in the mouth. Polio in the nation's north is like a stubborn cactus in its last vestiges of life, with an imminent final push to extinction being mounted.
How do we ensure that no child ever suffers this disease ever again?
This story is now being told by young documentary producers with a passion to tell the African story the African way. The African International Documentary Festival Foundation, AFIDFF, offers such a platform and selected Dorcas Bello's Not All Darkness as the best of 24 documentaries submitted for this year's campaign.
Nigerians telling Nigerian story about polio eradication initiatives in their own way and in a beautiful way.
The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, represented, gave tips on the technical aspects of documentary production and content development.
A simple description of documentary identifies it as a non-fictional motion picture intended to document some aspects of reality, primarily for the purposes of instruction, education, or maintaining a historical record.
A lot of our stories are not said the right way, so we needed a platform that our African documentarians, that are underprivileged journalists and documentarians can come up and say the stories of what we have in Africa.
The African International Documentary Festival Foundation says it is currently putting finishing touches to its documentary festival billed for 2019. In Abuja, Fisayo Ogunfuyi, NTA News.
Still on health. About 100 people have received medical care as the Queen of Aso 2018 Komeigo takes her health advocacy to Jabi village in Abuja. Chimdima Ndubisi reports that a team of medical personnel carried out tests administering drugs ranging from anti-malarial antibiotics to cough syrups and deworming tablets. This is as a remedy to inherent health issues in the locality.
Most of them here are suffering from malaria because of the stagnant water. Public health is something about this country that we really have to lay emphasis on.
And then we find out that most of the adults too, they are hypertensive and they don't even know. Some of them are diabetic, they are finding out for the first time. So we encourage them to go to the hospital so that they will do proper check and then follow up from there.
Locals were also educated on how to keep their environment clean, imbibe hand-washing habit, and take the appropriate diet to reduce increasing cases of ailments in the area. Report just reaching us say the Federal Executive Council has approved the 2019-2021 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and Fiscal Strategy paper as basis for the 2019 appropriation bill to be forwarded to the National Assembly. The ECOWAS Court of Justice is determined to continue to ensure quick dispensation of justice within its area of jurisdiction, which is the West African sub-region. The President of the Court of Justice, Edward Asante, disclosed this at the opening of the 10th Judicial Retreat of the Court. Dele Atumbi reports.
The convergence of these jurists and other legally minded persons from the West African sub-region is not just for the fun of it, but a serious business on ways to review the jurisprudence of the court. One of the issues which this sub-regional court faces is the reduction of the judges from 7 to 5 in spite of the increase in the cases coming before it. This ordinarily will slow down adjudication on matters within its jurisdiction. In saving the sub-region on the danger inherent in this development, the jurists who were appointed in August this year are trying to find ways out of the situation.
The reduction in the number of judges from 7 to 5 and the delay in the translation of court processes, both of which impede the effectiveness of the court. This is particularly poignant with the increased number of cases on the court's docket, currently at 107 pending cases, a number that is expected to increase looking at the current trends.
We can only do what is possible, humanly speaking, and so we'll do our best to speedily reduce the numbers of cases by working harder and sitting more often and clearing the backlog that we can, humanly speaking.
This is to avert justice delay, an axiom that is tantamount to justice denied. Other areas of interest are access to court, jurisdiction, human rights mandate, ECOWAS community legal order, practices and procedure, and the enforcement of the judgment of the court. To its credit, between 2004 and 2018, the sub-regional court delivered 318 decisions comprising 190 judgments, 105 rulings, 18 revision judgments, and 5 advisory opinions.
The 10 judicial retreats of ECOWAS Court of Justice will in the next 4 days extract the jurisprudence of the court between 2004 and 2018 in Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Now a quick look at the weather picture across the country. And that's it on Nationwide. We thank you for watching. Do have a pleasant evening. Bye for now.